start like to record my daily life when I was soldier, and I was like trying in secret way to record my routine, my daily life, and to show this kind of like the military association, how the mind of this military association, who's behind, which kind of mind behind this, and through that, like the walls of the war, like from the graffiti of the regime and all his offices, how it's like. You just imagine like you are sitting in one office between four walls, and you are surrounded by 50 pictures for the same person. It's just a crazy moment during the Al-Assad's regime. Our life in Syria, it was like we are inside his gallery, actually, like his pictures, it's everywhere. And for me, it was like a big question for me as a civilian living in Syria and witnessing the life of the dictatorship in Syria and his period of life, how he's controlling us, how he's ruling us. When I finished the film, I had to run away from Syria, and I escaped to Lebanon, and I found myself in Beirut, also a such city has a huge history from the civilian war, and until this moment, like they're still rebuilding the country, and especially in Beirut. After the civilian war, and I found myself like facing a huge community from the Syrian workers, as example, and how they are like living under this kind of like conditions and under this kind of like how the system like using them as slaves, and how the society trying to punish them to don't let them to go outside to the street when they are finishing their works. So for me, it was like a huge topic to talk about it, especially like when I start like to ask myself how these workers, they are rebuilding in this country in Lebanon, but in the same time they are losing their houses in Syria. So it was very difficult and very powerful, like to make a spot of light on the life of these workers. It seems like they are hostages without any kind of rights. And I tried just like to transfer the story of the workers from underground of Beirut to put it on the top of the table to show everybody around how how the society and how the system treating the workers as slaves. And after that, when I finished the film Test of Cement, I had like to travel also again to another country to become a refugee. So I found myself in Berlin. Berlin also, it has like a huge history from the Second World War, and Berlin for me, it seems like a huge war museum. Every single corner from the city, it's reminding you about what's happened. And for some people, like for Syrian people, actually, like who ran away from Syria, to run away from the war, and we are holding with us our traumas, and we arrived to Germany and we are facing another trauma. So it's kind of like the German traumas. For me, it was like a very difficult, like also to deal with this topic, and to find myself again, I am facing the war, but in different level. Also, I'm working now for my new project. Also, it's about this situation about a Syrian guy who ran away from Syria, and now he's in the exile in Berlin, in a such place, reminding him about the war, Berlin as a war museum, but at the same time also he's facing his trauma in this kind of place. So this makes me also like trying to finish my trilogy as a filmmaker, from the first film, The Mortal Sergeant, and after that, the first one, it was in Damascus, also about the war. The second one, Taste of Cement in Lebanon, in Beirut, also it's about the war. And now I'm in Berlin since like 11 years, trying to finish my fiction film, my third film, about the same arc, how I'm moving from city to another city, and just facing the war. I think like the war is chasing me or hunting me, by the way. So I'm trying to explain myself through my new film. Every morning I'm waking up in Beirut, surrounded by the sound of the construction. As you know, like in Beirut, the sound of the construction started from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And for me, I thought it's the sound of the war still hunting me, because I was like so fresh. I just came from the war, so the sound of the war stuck in my mind. After like 3 years witnessing the war in Syria, I arrived to Lebanon in the 1st of February 2013. And really, first week, it was like I'm waking up every morning on the sound of the construction, but I thought it's the sound of the war. So after 1 week, it's like I start to understand is the sound of the construction, and I start like to follow the sound until I found myself like front of a huge community from the Syrian workers in Lebanon, and we are talking about like 1 million workers in Lebanon, and especially after the Syrian war, like all the refugees who ran away, who didn't want to be fighters or to be fighting against each other, who want to save himself, who ran away from Syria, they found themselves in Lebanon as a workers because it was the only shelter for them, like to let this society to accept them. Otherwise, they will be struggling because of their papers, and they are going to be very difficult for them, like to find any kind of work except the construction sites. So I found myself like front of a huge society from the Syrian workers, and slowly, slowly, I start like to search about my topic, and I start like to collect my team, and since like my partner Talal Khul is a DOP of the film, he was with me from the first moment when the idea came to my mind. We start like to make research about the topic, and after that, we get a permission like to enter to a huge building in this kind of like construction site. And as you see in the film, we are talking about more than like 400 people underground. They are not allowed to get out after 7 p.m., which means when they are finishing the works. And the first things when they are coming from the roof after building a new floor, they are directly going to the black hole where they are like underground living in this blackness, darkness place, and directly they start like to research about what's happened today during the work, what's happened in their villages and their cities. Everybody searching about, calling his mother, calling his family to check about what's happened. So for me, it was like very difficult in the beginning, like to build the trust between me and the workers, and it took from me a little bit more time because everybody's scared from the camera, and also they don't know I am belong to whom, which kind of like TV channels they thought I'm coming from TV channels, or I'm came from to make a reportage for as a journalist or something like this. But as you know, like this kind of people, they're not allowed to speak about their houses in Syria because they are scared from the regime. So they are scared from my camera. Even they are not allowed to speak about their works and the condition of the situation, how they are like hunted by the system, and they became like hostages inside this huge towers in the construction site. So I found myself like in front of youth community. They're not allowed to express their pain. They're not allowed to talk about how they are losing their houses in Syria, about the rules, about the conditions. They don't have an insurance. They are completely slaves. And slowly, slowly, I start like to introduce myself as a Syrian filmmaker to them. I told them in very secret way between me and them, because also when I get the permission from the owner of the building, I didn't told him the truth about why I'm here. I told him, he asked me why you are going to make a film inside my building. I told him because I'm very interested about how you are building such modern tower after the civilian war in Lebanon, and this is something very great. And he told me this is good, but please don't go to the workers where they are living underground because it's dirty. It's not beautiful for your images. So please don't be in touch with them. I told him, yes, for sure. So I started like to shoot from the first floor to the roof. And after that, when I finished shooting inside the building, I sneaked down with my team, and we spent like more than 5 nights between the Syrian workers. And here, like the relation between me and them, it was very strong after like 11 days working together from floor to another floor. And they know like I'm here to support them, to bring this story from underground, to put it above front of the Lebanese society in the first of all, and after that to the whole world. And maybe we can change the situation. We can make the society who's hosting this workers to rebuild their houses. They should give them some respect. They should give them some like trust, to let them when they are finishing the works, like to go outside to breathe, to make shopping, to just like hang out front of the sea, or swimming, or doing anything they want as human beings inside the city, especially who is building the city. It's these workers. And slowly, slowly, the trust start like to growing up between me and the workers, until they give me the permission to put my lens front of the eyes, like just few centimeters, to record the reflection of his house in his eye. So it was like very difficult moment, but we did it in the end, until the owner, he knows about what I'm doing and how my intention uh, 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 inside this building to make a film about the workers. It's not about his building. And here, like after he knows the reason behind our film, he kicked us out. But in that moment, I was like finished completely from the shooting. Exactly. It's the first time and the only shot inside the city. All the time I was in my mind thinking with my partner, the DOP, Talal Khoury, about like if our camera get out from the building, because as you know, like we have the opening scene, our camera is flying above the city to show the city from above as one color, which means the color of the cement. It seems like a cement forest build it from cement, you know. And we have also another shot outside the building when our camera is diving under the water to face the tank from the civilian war under the water, which means also it has another meaning. First of all, the first meaning, I'm trying to finger the civilian war in Lebanon through this tank under the water, which means like the war is done and the machines now it's under the water. And this makes us thinking about the machines in Syria, the tanks in Syria, when is going to be under the water, which means when is going to be one day the war is done, and we hope to see these machines like somewhere under the water. What is the first machine started to work after the civilian war done completely, which means weapons, machines, it's done. What is the first machine start like to work is the cement mixer. So the cement mixer, since last moment from the civilian war in Lebanon done, the cement mixer start like to move, and without non-stop 24 hours until this moment, and you will see it everywhere. Everywhere you are walking in the streets or you are moving in your car, the cement mixer is crossing from you, or you will see it mixing cement and putting cement. So for me, it was like the most important things, like to show the city from that perspective, especially like when the camera is moving from tunnel to another tunnel, and also it's showing us the situation of the Syrian workers from the underground with the elevator to the roof to the light, and coming up again like to the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, and how they are dealing with the cement. Especially, we are talking about two generations in the film, like the first generation, which means the father of our characters in that moment in the film, which means they started to work in Lebanon after the civilian war in 90s, and they spent like 11, 12 years working in Lebanon as workers to collect a little bit money and to come back to Syria after 12 years to build his home, to build his family. But suddenly the Syrian war began and he lost his family and he lost his home. And here, like when he saved his son from under the rebels, and he get it out full of cement, because like Taste of Cement, the title of the film, is talking about the Syrian worker, the people who tasted their houses physically. You know, we are talking about people, they tested their memories, they tested their cocoon, you know, like it's your home, it's your all your life in your room, between your walls, you have your memories, and suddenly everything like in your mouth, physically you are testing your mouth, your house. So for me it was like very important, like to show Beirut from that perspective, from the cement mixer. And for me it was like I'm trying to connect through this kind of like movement, a metaphor, you know, to uh, uh, to show which kind of city, like moving up down. And from the Syrian workers perspective, from the machines perspective, how we are getting from tunnel to another tunnel, from the dark to the light. So for me, it was like if I would like to finish the film, I would like to shoot this shot, and to finish the film with this kind of shot. Yeah, first of all, like for the screening in Syria, I was very happy. Like after I released my film in different countries around the world, I was like moving with my film from country to another country, from cinema to another cinema, except Syria, because I was forbidden to show my films in Syria. And like first time they invited me to screen the film in Syria. It was like a beautiful moment. I was very, very happy because it's very important to meet the original audience, which means like the audience who has the story, you know. This is what I meant with the original, but it's very important like to meet the audience. They are belong to the same topic, because the topic is about them. And it was like, unfortunately, online meeting, because now I'm in Berlin since like 11 years. I'm not allowed to travel to Syria because the German governments, they are not giving us the permission like to travel to Syria as refugees, because if we travel now, we will lose this 11 years and we will lose the right of to become a refugee, because as you know, like when you run away from a country and you became a refugee somewhere else, you are not allowed to travel between this country and to this country. But until now, we are waiting any kind of like a solution from the German governments, like to give us a permission to allow us like to go to travel to Syria, to visit the family and to meet the audience and to meet the friends and to meet my home and to meet just like, you know, after 11 years outside, it's or 12 years now. Um, it's very difficult, and for me, I think like the future of Syria is still foggy. You know, like it's not at all. It's scary, but at least like now we crossed the dangerous situation, because like during Al-Assad time, it was like we are living in a slaughterhouse. We are living in the darkness. We are really, it was very, very dark place, Syria, where you can be scared all the time. You are not allowed to express yourself. Any small mistake, you will find yourself underground. You became tortured. They will kill you. I mean, it was like really a slaughterhouse inside the prison and outside the prison. Even you are not in the prison, you are a prisoner inside this fucking country during his role. But now also there is another group trying like to control Syria and trying to put all of us in one basket under the rules, which means very radical rules. I don't believe about this at all. I wish we will have like um, a country for every kind of Syrians under the law, and we are treating ourselves as a civilians, not as a Muslims or not Muslims, and yeah, this is what I wish. Still, like early to talk a lot about the situation, but as from my side, I don't think we are going to the right place in this moment. I start to think about Taste of Cement in that way. The first things came to my mind when I visited the location of Taste of Cement, when I found myself in front of this black hole where the workers going down and going up. Metropolis came to my mind directly as example, and also I'm big influencer of the Russian cinema, also from like Tarkovsky. And for me, like the philosophy of Tarkovsky, how he's treating his films and how he's talking about life, about the inner of his characters, about politically or in very poetic way, and he's giving a lot of metaphors. He's not just like going directly to the his target and just like making copy paste with his camera and transferring the reality to his lab and just add some music. No, he's like cutting a piece from his time, and he's makes like the scene going through him. He has a lot of experience in life. He has a lot of uh, um, descriptions or point of about how he should like recycling his thoughts, how he's like trying to face his reality and let the reality go through his mind and through his thoughts and to put it in his film. So I mean, like all the time, it's a challenging between you and yourself, you know, as an artist, as a filmmaker. Like every time, for me, as example, like I don't go to make a film without to challenge myself from the first moment. I want to do a scene no one before me has to do it. You know, no one's before me does it. So when you keep this kind of like energy between you and yourself and this kind of like challenging to create a scene nobody does it before, so this makes you in a high competition with yourself. You don't accept anything easy, you know, you don't accept any scene just very direct to explain the situation. No, no, you need to dive under the layers of the reality, because everybody knows the reality is in front of us. Everybody having his phone, you anytime you can record around you, you know. But it's not about like recording, it's about to record and to build millions of layers inside this moment, to tell the audience what does mean reality from different angles, what does mean reality from this perspective, you know. So you are turning the reality to different place. You are inviting the audience to drive them to something they already know, but now they are hear it in different way or they are look it in different way. So this art for me, like all the time, you need to find your language. You need to create something, and if you have this competition between you and yourself, you are challenging yourself all the time. I want to do something nobody does before. I guess you will find your way. Actually, also, I'm working in this is my first fiction film since like 6 years, and now we finished the script. Now we are facing a new kind of like troubles for collecting money from Germany, because also like the script is very political, and it seems it's not fit with the thoughts of German's government, because the German government or the German society, even like they have a lot of taboos. Nobody, they don't from anyone to don't touch it, you know. But for me, I can't. After 11 years living in Berlin, I would like to describe Berlin as I feel, you know, not as they thought about Berlin. This so for me, this is very important. Like I'm the stranger, not the German one who grew up inside the city, but at least I spent like 11 years. And I'm talking about like a Syrian guy who ran away from the war and he has like to face his trauma in a such city like Berlin as a war museum city. We are struggling now politically with funds to support us. I wish I can do the film as I want, and but this is reminding me a lot about our situation when we was in Syria. In Syria, during the Al-Assad regime time, you are not allowed to think as you want. You are not allowed to open any topic you would like. There is a lot of taboos. You are not allowed to touch it. And here, I'm seeing myself. I'm repeating the same fucking shit, and especially in such country. Uh, uh, Trying to tell us all the time how they are taking care about human rights, how they are proud about the free speech. I don't think we have a free speech anywhere now in the world, not just in Germany. Um, I mean, like, we need to fight. Usually, we are doing films to fuck the governments. Now, here in Germany, we are waiting the governments to finance our film. I feel it's wrong because in that way, like the governments, they want to make a censorship about your thoughts, about your ideas. They want to control your mind. We give you money if you make propaganda for us. If you want to make anything against us, we are not going to support you. So this makes me like going for plan B. To don't be in this industry anymore, to go to my like to start like to make films in a way like a dogma style. Need 40 person on the stage with big lights, with big team to light two characters. They are sitting in front of each other and just speaking. So I don't need like 40 workers on the set like to do the shot. I can do it with three, four people. One he's holding the camera, one he's holding the sound, and maybe one he's holding light. Maybe it's me. I'm holding the small light when I'm doing my scene. So if we didn't get the money, I'm going to go to my plan B. I will start like to shoot my films in dogma style. I don't care about quality. I don't care which kind of camera. I just care about like there's a fucking idea. I'm holding this idea since like 6 years in my mind. It's fucking painful. I have the right to express my idea and to put it on the table. I don't need someone to be agreed about my thoughts, like to give me money to finish my film. So this is what we are struggling now as an artist in Germany. So let's hope they will supporting us and not seeing this interview after giving us the money. Let's hope that.